chemtrails. And chemtrails, by the way, barium salts are in chemtrails. They are 10,000 times more toxic to your nervous system than lead. They contain mycobacteria, viruses, Pseudomonas florensis bacteria, human plasma. Wonder what human plasma is doing in chemtrails. And this is not by conjecture. I did a lot of research before I'd ever say this. But these chemtrails are nasty. And there's 3 reasons for chemtrails. The first is and I talked to my NSA buddies at Fort Carson, Peterson Air Force Base, and Buckley, where I was actually their doctor taking care of the pilots flying and spraying the chemtrails. So I know it's real. If anybody says it's not real, they're full of it. Okay? Because I'm a whistleblower. On the inside, it's not open for discussion. And my NSA buddies told me, 95% of them told me, they were up there trying to spray to reflect the sun out to stop global warming. So most of them are dumb enough to believe that garbage. Okay? And also in the chemtrails, and there's a link directly that Jeff Francis found out, and I'm going to have Dr. Staninger and Dr. Carjou on in about a week on my radio show. And I've done some investigations, and there's very solid evidence now that Morgellons is caused by a silicon-based nanomachine life form that does not originate on planet Earth. Is that not interesting? This is a silicon-based life form that is intelligent like bees or ants, and it fights back. Conversion of the atmosphere into a plasma for weather modification, geotectonic warfare, scalar mind control technologies, the woodpecker, which has been discovered back in the 70s, HARP, the TETRA system in the United Kingdom, Gwen towers in the United States, and the Iridium satellite system connected to the cell towers and the smart highways is all based on not only sending out a signal to track you, but Nokia, which is one of the leading cell companies, has figured out a new way to cut down the need for increasing the amount of signal by 3 to 5 times as many cell phones in the same signal area by beaming the signal directly to you. But they can also, besides the cell signal, they can actually have a biocoded signal to your DNA to affect your physiology and insert thoughts into your mind. And they have this technology today.
Fast forward to 2025, and everyone in North America, the UK and most of Europe is living in the world described by Dr. Deagle, inhaling toxic chemicals and airborne mRNA, known in the industry as airvax. According to multiple whistleblowing pilots, governments and countries including Canada and the UK are working hand in glove with the Gates Foundation, the military and private contractors in top secret operations.
Involved in administering mRNA to the masses.
Chemtrails aren't just crimes against our children, or even crimes against humanity at large. They're crimes against the natural world itself. Every time these aircraft spray the skies with toxic aerosols, the fallout settles onto our land, onto our crops, our grass, and our water supplies. Animals graze on contaminated vegetation. The chemicals work their way up the food chain, and the damage doesn't stop there. One of the most insidious ingredients found in chemtrail residue is aluminium. When aluminium seeps into the soil, it slowly poisons the ecosystem. It disrupts plant life, weakens roots, and erodes biodiversity. But more alarmingly, it's been linked to neurological disorders in humans, including autism in children and Alzheimer's in adults. The spraying has been so widespread, so relentless, that we're now seeing the effects in one of nature's most vital species, bees. Scientific studies have shown that bees across the world are now carrying elevated levels of aluminium. And some are even exhibiting signs of Alzheimer's-like cognitive dysfunction. In the UK, entire colonies are collapsing. Bees are dropping dead across the country. And here's the chilling part. When the bees disappear, our food system collapses. Without pollination, crops fail, flowers die off, entire harvests become impossible. We are pushed into total dependence on the very same elite engineering this crisis. Those who control synthetic foods, patented seeds, and lab-grown alternatives. This isn't just environmental destruction, it's strategic domination of the food chain. And it's happening in plain sight.
If you've been listening to the crap that's been coming out of the World Health Organization, the World Economic Forum, the European Union, these sorts of places, you can connect the dots yourself.
You won't be surprised to hear that Bill Gates is a key player in the plot to deliver airborne mRNA to the masses without their consent.
There are a lot of companies that apply for geoengineering contracts, and when we've looked into their funding, it always leads back to the Gates Foundation. From what we understand, Gates is fanatical about disseminating mRNA far and wide. He's also developing ways to lace the food supply with mRNA. So we're experiencing a two-pronged attack at the moment.
This information, while disturbing, should not come as a surprise to anybody who's been living with their eyes wide open and rejecting the fake news of the mainstream media. In 1972, the Club of Rome published the book The Limits to Growth, which called for extreme depopulation to save the planet from the plague of humans. This book has served as an instructional manual for the global elite ever since its publication. And let's not forget the Georgia Guidestones, the granite monoliths that brazenly declared the global elite's desire to reduce the human population to just 500 million. Since then, we've heard a parade of globalist figureheads, often from the polished podiums of Davos, echo the same chilling ambition: depopulation, eugenics, and control disguised as progress. But there's a catch. The elite, for all their arrogance, follow a twisted code of ethics. One that demands they tell us what they're going to do to us, just not in plain language. They use symbols, hidden messages, and coded phrases buried in media, policy documents, and public speeches. It's ritualistic, occult, predictive programming. But here's their problem. We have cracked the code. We know that Agenda 2030 and the UN Sustainable Development Goals aren't about saving the planet. They're about reshaping society into a tightly controlled, surveilled, post-human dystopia. We know that when they say they're spraying the skies to fight climate change, what they're really doing is altering the atmosphere, weakening our immune systems, and preparing us for full-spectrum biosurveillance. We know that barium, aluminium, and graphene oxide are not safe, not in our vaccines, not in our skies, and certainly not in our children's bodies. Yet, they continue spraying us from above day after day without our consent and without accountability. The veil is lifting, the agenda is exposed. And now the question becomes, what are we going to do about it?